And now let's go to Adrian in the UK, where Prime Minister Boris Johnson has apparently and convincingly saved his job. Adrian.
Yeah, Rosie, it's definitely his night, though the results are still really coming in from this election. There aren't many people who really wanted it right now, but it has effectively become a referendum on Britain's future, its place in Europe and in the world. And that is why we're here in London, outside Westminster, the UK Parliament, because the decision taken by voters will soon have an impact on hundreds of millions of people on both sides of the English Channel. Exit polls indicate the Conservatives will win a commanding majority government. That's the party's best result, likely, since Margaret Thatcher's in 1987. For Labour, perhaps its worst defeat in 80-plus years.
However, Brexit has so polarised and divided debate in this country. It has overridden so much of a normal political debate. And I recognise that has contributed to the result that the Labour Party has received this evening.
This One Nation Conservative government has been given a powerful new mandate to get Brexit done.
So dawn is not far off now here in the UK. Margaret Evans is joining us now after a long, wet, very cold voting day. Margaret, two certainly very different messages there from Corbyn and Johnson. And a lot of what happened tonight is being explained by the collapse of the Red Wall. Can you walk us through that?
Sure. I mean, this is the Red Wall. It basically refers to traditional working class Labour heartland, mainly in the north of England. And the Conservatives went after that very deliberately because those are constituencies that also backed Brexit very strongly during the referendum. And they've been unhappy with the Labour response. Clearly, Boris Johnson's message of getting Brexit done resonated. But one of the other things I think you have to take into consideration is that, you know, people will tell you they've been talking about Brexit here for 3.5 years, and many people at the polls today were saying, we just want to get on with it. In the bleak midwinter, a voting day, and for some, a wedding day. Not ideal weather for either. But many British voters who made it to the polls believe this election will be a defining one for generations.
This is the second important election that I voted in. I voted in 1945, and I'm pleased I was able to vote today.
George Martindale was 22 in 1945. That's how old Anna Fernandez is today. A conflicted voter, she's supporting the Conservatives.
I voted Remain in the referendum, so yeah, I would be a Remain. So that's where I'm torn.
Brightening moods, though, the great British tradition of hashtag dogs at polling stations. This is Watson.
I think there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of discomfort around Brexit, having been delayed, 3 times now. Everyone's getting a bit sick of it.
It's also a fairly bleak vote this time around. I think just some happy dogs make it a bit brighter.
Not one to miss out on a social media opportunity, the Conservatives' Boris Johnson turned up to vote this morning with his recently acquired rescue dog. The opposition Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, less at ease with the cameras, stuck around for a longer than normal photo op. By day's end, battling an even harder rain, the media was congregating outside Parliament for the long night of counting ahead in a vote that has placed great strain on this country.
So, Margaret, if this majority holds, and it certainly looks like it will, is this effectively saying that the British people have voted for Brexit again?
Well, it might be the effect, but I don't think that that's how a lot of people wanted to see it. You know, you have to remember that the Remain voters, the people who wanted to stay in the European Union, their support was split across 4 different political parties, whereas the Conservatives really managed to kind of push the Brexit party aside and be the only party of Brexit. One other thing that was helping Boris Johnson in this was the unpopularity of the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, who was, according to a recent poll, the most unpopular opposition leader in nearly half a century, and people said that they were feeling that on the doorstep.
Last question. How united is the United Kingdom likely to be after this?
Well, you know, Scotland voted to remain in the European Union, and the Scottish National Party that wants independence from the United Kingdom got a really big bump tonight, a push. They increased their seats, and we know from Nicola Sturgeon, their leader, they will be coming for another independence referendum if they can.
All right, more to come, Margaret. Thanks very much.